What's up, gang? It's Dominic D'Angelo. It's ad-free shows. It's Rumor Innuendo, and it's right after SummerSlam. I am Dominic D'Angelo of ad-free shows, OneTrueSportTV.com, etc. But I'm here with Robert Karpelis, WWE Creative _ish, former WWE writer. And wow, we got quite a bit to talk about today. Quite a bit, Robert.
It's great to have you back, Dom. It feels like old times. You forgot to push go live. So we're already starting off with damn it, Dom, I hit the go live.
You did?
Now that I got access again. But it's great. First of all, thank you, Kevin Kellum, for filling in on Friday. We went extra long on Friday. That was an hour-long episode because we did a 30-minute off-the-cuff conversation about AEW Dynamite. We don't have that kind of time today, man. We got 30 minutes to pack it all in, Dom. Let's not waste a second more.
Let's get right into it and start with Jelly Roll, Robert. What did you think of Jelly Roll kicking off the show? His own incorporation into the show later on with Grayson Waller and The Miz and all that stuff. And then chokeslam and Austin Theory. Did you like that?
So that Liar song is playing on a loop in my brain, much like the Wheatley American Vodka song was for a while. I'm of two minds. Number one, live didn't sound the best. But that being said, I think one of the advantages to Jelly Roll, one of the things is he's just got such an infectious personality. He's he's got a vibrant energy to him, and more importantly, because I watched him on the pre-show, he is a legitimate WWE fan, and he called out a lot of the other musical acts without saying their names, Hardy, who don't really care at all about wrestling. It's just, I'm here to promote my music. And he is one of the 4 or 5 biggest musical artists on the planet. That was not a fat joke, but he seemed enthused. His interactions in the ring with Miz and Archer, it looks like you're drinking urine. I don't know what just happened right there. That is not that kind of show, man.
It's not urine, guys. Just so you know, it's not.
I look, you do you. Jelly Roll did him. The chokeslam looked great, and the fact that he got up from the 5-knuckle shuffle, wow, that seemed like that was going to be a rough moment right there. But good on Jelly Roll, good on WWE for capitalizing on a major star who just is a huge WWE. I don't want to say mark because that's just a derogatory term, but an enthusiast for World Wrestling Entertainment. You were there live. How was it in the building hearing Jelly Roll? And I'm sure you were able to see him clearly, no matter where you were in the building.
No matter where you were, it was yes, he was a presence. I thought it was good. The neat thing was we were up in the press box, and literally the choir that was with him, like the backup singers, they were practicing upstairs in the press box, and it sounded really good. So it was good stuff.
Great, and I like that his drummer looked like Axl Rotten.
Yeah, right. That's true. He did. Okay, let's get to the show. Kicks off Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. And we do get the turn from Dom. My goodness. Really well set up, I thought, too, in regards to, hey, he's pulling the chair away because he wants Rhea to earn the title and get it and not lose it. And then boom, he pulls a fast one. And Liv Morgan gets the win. And they kiss. And there's a lot of heat in Cleveland for that one. What did you think of that opening match, Robert?
So it was less a match and more a vehicle for the storyline. And I think that's part of the push and pull you're going to hear throughout when talking about SummerSlam is the in-ring match work versus the execution of the story. And I think this first match, the idea that Rhea is obviously bigger and stronger than Liv, you couldn't have a straight-up wrestling match. You played into the idea that Rhea's shoulder was not 100%. The way that she's able to voluntarily pop it out, that is gross. and her yelling like it's out, and she looked like she's hurt, and then slamming it against the announce table to pop it back in. That is some John McClane style babyface work, which is, for those of you who don't know, a big thing with Vince. Back when Vince was there, he loved the John McClane style babyface. That was sort of the template a little bit for John Moxley when he was Dean Ambrose in the white undershirt and the jeans. This guy who's just going to keep coming and keep trying to fight. They needed a way to neutralize Rhea a little bit. I think that was effective. The tease with the chair the first time that Dom was trying to help Rhea I thought it was a nice touch. I know some folks didn't love that. They thought it muddied the water. They wanted a clear moment. I'm glad we didn't get a clear moment, because you wanted those little seeds of doubt, because that has consistently been what has happened with Dom when he helped Liv inadvertently win the title the first time. The fact that he's been caught in compromising positions that he seemingly did not want to be in, and then finally, when you had that kiss and you had the look on Rhea Ripley's face, I mean, kids, it didn't get better than that.
Right. That's some good storytelling at that aspect. And yeah, I'm with you too. Rhea came out looking strong in it. There creates a lot of intrigue. Like even Michael Cole mentioned too, how it's like, was this the ruse all along? Was this the plan and stuff like that? So it creates a lot of questions going on. Hey, when did this actually start? And what will we hear coming up to Night on Raw, which we'll preview later on here if we have time. Next up, we had Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. Pretty short match, and Braun wins emphatically. What'd you think of this, Robert?
5.5 minute long match. It was decisive without being a squash, and I think that's part of why Sami Zayn is so incredible at what he does. He was extremely generous with Braun Breaker in that match. The fact that he got the early advantage, he got a little bit of offense in there at the very beginning, so that it wasn't entirely one-sided. The fact that it was Braun capitalizing on a moment. You know, he hit that first spear, he continued, he bounced off the ropes, laid him out a second time. After Sammy went for the haluva kick and Braun dodged it, to show Braun was paying attention, he was learning, he's getting better. This was tremendous. Shout out to the announce team for laying that foundation. You know, McAfee kept saying, like, this is a documentary moment for Braun Breaker. But more importantly, Cole was talking about the number of wrestlers who had won their first Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. And it was Ultimate Warrior, it was Bret Hart, it was Steve Austin, and I believe it was Triple H. So, but even if it's just those first three, to put Braun's name up there, you're immediately realizing, hey, this is a guy that's going to be around for the long haul. Kudos to Sami Zayn for being selfless. Kudos to Braun Breaker for making the most of that moment. And I love that the WWE had that Legends suite where you had Rick and Scott Steiner up there, and they got footage of Rick seeing his son win the title. A really nice touch, a beautiful overall presentation.
Yeah, it's funny too, because Braun during SummerSlam weekend was asked, "Hey, is your father and your uncle going to be front row ringside?" And he's like, "No, I don't plan on that." But sure enough, they're back in the press box. So it was kind of neat to kind of see all that. Not press box, but
You're up in the press box with Click This's own Kevin Nash, which
right.
I believe you have a hand in that podcast as well, Dom.
I do. Social media man for that one.
Man, you are a ubiquitous presence. But I don't know what the next match is to be able to throw in ubiquitous presence. Oh, no, I know what the next one is.
Yes.
It's the ubiquitous Logan Paul, who had a hell of a social media weekend.
Oh, he sure did, didn't he? What a build to the match here with all that. And we get LA Knight winning, overtaking the undermining of Logan Paul with his brass knuckles, and Machine Gun Kelly, the intimidating presence of Machine Gun Kelly, all there in there. And LA Knight perseveres, gets the win. This had to happen for LA Knight. And the crowd was really, really into him. I got to admit,
Look, to quote Jerry Orbach from Dirty Dancing, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. LA Knight knew the assignment, and that dude stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably my second favorite match on the entire card,
wow.
in large part due to Logan Paul. Like I said, I don't want to toot my own horn here, because that's not a Blue Chew ad. But I said it was going to be a 12-minute match, and it was 12 minutes to the second. And I said this was going to be Logan Paul leading LA Knight through this. And that was kind of what you had. The inclusion of Machine Gun Kelly was perfect. It's him and Logan as this just douche bro combination. Love it. Love the story they told. Love the pre-match antics. Love the fact that Logan Paul looked genuinely deflated when he lost. And here's to you, Cleveland, for understanding the assignment and just booing the hell out of Logan Paul.
Yeah, didn't matter if he was wearing Browns colors or not. He got booed. He got booed big time. And
right match, right finish, right story to tell. I think LA Knight, yes, is going to transition this over to Carmelo Hayes at some point in the next couple months. But what a fun little moment and a nice payoff to him stealing the truck from Friday.
Yeah, well, broke the window. Jeez.
You can't have a vehicle on TV without it getting smashed in some way, shape, or form. I think it was real glass.
Oh man.
So that was a callback to the old Jack Perry stuff. But yeah, no, good on LA Knight, good on Logan Paul. I know Logan Paul was a little banged up after that, but hopefully we will see him back sometime soon. Dom.
Yes, does great heel work. Good run for the United States title, and it'll be interesting to see if LA Knight can keep this momentum going. Somebody who stopped the momentum was Nia Jax, defeating Bayley for the title. Did this surprise you, Robert? We kind of thought maybe Bayley would continue her run, but this was it. Nia Jax is your new champ. She's the queen. She's the champ. What do you think?
Yeah, not the good kind of surprise. This was the surprise. Your Instacart arrived and your ice cream has melted. So I think the execution of the finish was well done. Number one, the idea that Tiffany Stratton came out for what was a calculated fake cash in, the way that they've redesigned the Money in the Bank briefcase to be a giant purse, I think is a really cool touch.
Yeah.
Nia Jax winning by not just doing one finishing move, but several, which was a hallmark of this weekend. We saw that on Friday with Jacob Fatu and Johnny Gargano. It makes the win feel more decisive. It doesn't feel like a fluke. It feels like it was earned, that it took everything that Nia had to beat Bayley. That being said, now we're going to get Nia Jax women's title matches. And I don't know where you necessarily go with Nia for right now. I think whoever beats her is going to lose to Tiffany Stratton. That seems like a given. Whether it's going to be a Bayley rematch, whether it's going to be Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, potentially a returning Charlotte Flair, whoever that's going to be is going to have to contend with Nia, who doesn't shy away from heat, but we know that her promos can get a little meandering. We know that her matches can be a little lackluster. And ultimately, she is a placeholder for the anointing of Tiffany Stratton.
I really actually like the move of Nia becoming champion. I think it's, she establishes what the king and queen of the ring actually means for the WWE in regards to raising the stakes for it. Not only that, but she is creating, like, you want to create this dominant presence. Like, she had that coming back into it, but this really sets the tone for it moving forward, that, okay, who is going to beat her? And you do have athletes on there to complement and work with her style in a lot of ways, with Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Charlotte, you mentioned. And Bayley did a good job too. So I think this is really good for them to do. And I don't think Bayley was really rolling on her run as a babyface in this role. So I'm curious what they're going to do in regards to maybe kind of revitalizing her and what the plan is for her moving forward. But I think this was the right move. And I'm excited to kind of see what they kind of do with it. I'm more pro Nia than a lot of people are, I think.
It's not a terrible creative decision. I think there's some interesting options. I just think the prospect of more Nia Jax singles matches doesn't get me terribly excited. But guys, if you're looking to get terribly excited, our next sponsor needs no introduction. You've seen the Edge. You've heard us talk about it a million times, and I bet there's a big part of you, pun intended, that wants to try it. What am I talking about? Blue Chew. That's right. This isn't your grandpa's blue pill. This is the one, the OG tablet for better sex. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. You will be clamoring for these Blue Chew pills like CM Punk fighting for a friendship bracelet. Blue Chew wants the entire country rock hard. They told me that's the mission. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR. At checkout, just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Thank you, Blue Chew. Hey, thank you, Tony Gong, too. The Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon. That's a dislocated shoulder thing. That's what it was. I remember.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, carrying on. You just mentioned it, CM Punk.
We mentioned Riggs, and then there's Murtaugh, the guy who's getting too old for this. We can't use the word, but you know what it is.
Old, tired, and dealing with children. We got CM Punk taking on Drew McIntyre. Special guest referee Seth Rollins. Lots going on in the text group that we had with Working Stiff during this match. What did you think, Robert?
All right. I'm a big Drew McIntyre guy. I consider Drew a friend. The build to this match for almost an entire year was a masterclass. The way that they used promos, the way that they used social media, the way that they used every opportunity possible to tell this weaved work shoot of a story. Masterful. That being said, this missed the mark in it's the most polite way I can put this. This was a beach ball thrown in the air, and you still swung and missed badly. The inclusion of Seth Rollins, I was concerned about it before. I was probably understating how concerned I should have been about Seth Rollins' participation in this match. He made way too much of this about him. He took away from what was a simple two dudes beating the hell out of each other kind of feel. We had it with Logan Paul and LA Knight before. We had it, and we'll get to, with Gunther and Damian Priest. When these two were fighting each other with the hockey punches at the beginning, I go, okay, this is all it needs to be. Punches, kicks, wild and crazy match. When they moved to the outside pretty early on in the match, and Drew picked Punk up to swing him into the announce table, the crowd first started chanting, "We want tables," and then started doing the Seth Rollins music, his chant. So that's when I realized, oh, this audience is not taking this ride the way that they want them to. It felt like WWE did not have full confidence in CM Punk to physically be able to deliver. So I'm not going to join that chorus of people saying Punk needs to retire, hang it up, he's done. I don't think we got a fair opportunity to see what CM Punk could actually deliver. I think Seth Rollins was constantly making a lot of this about him. Part of that by design of the match, part of that by just his own general insecurity. And then the stuff with the friendship bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I liken this to on Twitter, on X at WWE Creative _ISH, was in the Batman versus Superman DC movie when they both realized Martha. Like that level of uncomfortable, this is terrible. I first liked when Punk ripped the bracelet off of Drew. Cool, like it. But then he saw it on Seth and just goes berserk. Yeah. At that point, I'm like, you know what? As a character, I can't take this journey with you anymore. You've now gone to a level of crazy paranoia that's best reserved for a lunatic heel. The attacking of your good friend Rob Van Dam's former tag team partner Sabu and his pants, no place for that. No place to wardrobe shame.
Sabu had much better pants.
Sabu had much better pants than what Seth Rollins was wearing. The finish left everybody cold. It's like Punk attacks Seth, so there's that. Drew pins Punk with Seth counting. It doesn't feel like a win for anybody. It just felt like a strange moment that happened on this show. It felt like a a misfire. That's the word I'm going to go with here. A misfire across the board creatively and in execution. Yes, there are paths forward. They can easily correct this as early as this evening on Raw. But from my perspective, this was a no for me, dog.
I didn't mind it. I really didn't. I was there live, so I was getting a lot of the feedback from what you guys were texting about too, but seeing it like far away and stuff like that, all of the stuff unfolding, stuff that did stand out to me was Seth not being a very good referee. That kind of really stood out. Him taking the moments where it's just like his course, his decision is what he decided to say to both these guys, like, this is my ring, my company. It sounded really weird and out of place. And so that's kind of what I was going into. This morning, I got to watch the match on Peacock and see all the with the commentary and everything.
You don't have to plug Peacock. They're not sponsoring us.
I know. But I didn't mind it. Like, I thought I'm with you too. It's like, I don't think we really got a chance to really see what CM Punk can still do in the ring in regards to a singles match. He's been gone. He hasn't wrestled a single match in well over a year. When it comes to on television or on a big broadcast thing. And then plus he's getting back from injury and he's getting older. So we'll have to, I think,
looked like he was in great shape, by the way.
He was in awesome looking shape. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. I think from what him and Drew were doing, from it came to like their facials and their expressions and everything like that, that was really good and really well done. I think this could at minimum be just a little bit of a speed bump, but I didn't think the match was, it told a story and I was okay with it. And the bracelet was kind of whatever, but it's furthering things along. And I think we'll get more from Drew. Drew kissing the bracelet at the end, I think kind of raised the stakes a little bit more. His menace was very good, I thought. So
I told people on Friday you were going to be disappointed at the end of this match. I didn't anticipate it was going to be this level of disappointment. So I think that's where I was already going in with lowered expectations. They managed to skate underneath that, and that was kind of a disappointment. And just to refresh here, there's a great comment from the Wrestling Old Head who said Seth Rollins was reffing like an AEW match. Sure. Next up was I just found my notes from SummerSlam. That's amazing. I didn't realize I had him up because I had done the Patreon for Working Stiff with Scott Chaplin, plug for that, and that got posted where we went in depth, in great detail on SummerSlam. But next up was Gunther versus Damian Priest, which I don't know about you, Dom. This was my favorite match of the night.
I agree. Mine too. I think from what they did in the ring and also from what unfolded, I thought was really well done. What did you really like about this match, Robert?
There was an intensity from the moment go. When this thing first started, these guys were very safely and very securely working stiff.
Hey,
no, I didn't mean to do that. It just happened to be the way it was. It felt like there was a real intensity. It felt like the crowd for the first time was truly accepting Priest as a full-on babyface, and I loved that. I loved that Gunther was wrestling his style of match. The moment that Finn Balor appeared, I was a little disappointed. I talked about this on Friday in the pre-show. I had thought we were going to see the Finn Balor turn at Bash in Berlin, that you could have had Gunther win clean and Priest demand a rematch, and at the rematch have Finn Balor turn on Damian Priest. They may have been a little premature on that. I also would have liked to have seen Gunther win on his own merits. Minor nitpick. But at the end of the day, we got what we wanted. We got the Gunther title reign beginning. We're going to get a Finn Balor reshaping the Judgment Day. And I think that's the big story for Raw tonight is what's next for Judgment Day? Who's aligning where? There was a little, segment earlier in that show with Priest looking for Dom. He's like, where's that little prick? Like he's fired up and angry. And guys, if you have a little, nope, sorry, wrong. We're not doing that. We already did that. We're good. Force a habit. So it's like, okay, who's going to align where? By putting the tag titles with JD and Finn, obviously those two are married to each other. We don't know if Dom is siding with Finn or if he's siding with Priest. We don't know where Rhea is going to be at with all this. We don't know if Carlito remembered that he's at TV this week. A lot of interesting stories coming off of this and a lot of strong challengers for Gunther going into Bash in Berlin.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this was my favorite match of the night. And I think really what was cool about it. And I understand maybe the criticism of Gunther, like, hey, let's put him in the spotlight and make it about him. I think we're still going to get that. And I think that's what Bash Berlin's going to really be is like a big welcoming party almost for him when it comes to that and establishing him as a champion. But I liked Priest gets screwed over by Finn. He gets put in the sleeper. And then he escapes it, powers out of it like a big-time baby face, but immediately goes after Finn. Like, this is all his focus was, and he gets caught again, and that's how he loses. I thought the finish was awesome. And I'm excited to kind of see where Judgment Day is going to go. I would almost like to see it happen. Everybody basically secedes from Priest and Rhea, with the exception of Carlito. Carlito is the one who stays loyal. I think that'd be interesting.
I think that'd be fun. Yes, and then R-Truth popping up for his vote.
How about me, guys?
Fun tune. Yeah, no, I love it, and I think there's a comment here from the Wrestling Old Head. Do you think Gunther wrestling a heel at Bash in Berlin? So great moment right here to kind of quickly unpack this, because there are so many different options. You can go the Jey Uso route, since Jey Uso was not on SummerSlam, but he's gotten a lot of big wins. That would be a fun first title defense for him. You could go a rematch with Damian Priest, in which case you have to figure out what to do with Finn Balor. I can see an argument where Drew McIntyre says, hey, I deserve a shot. I know there's been rumors that we're potentially going to get Gunther and Drew at some point down the road. There's Seth Rollins, who was not allowed to challenge for Damian Priest. Yes, it was a gentleman's agreement, but still, he's potentially got an argument which could bring out Punk for that whole situation. There's a couple of dark horses that are floating out there. I don't think you could pivot to Sami Zayn quickly, given that he lost. But there's two names that stuck out at me as big-time names that Gunther can beat at a PLE. One would be Sheamus. You were building up that Ludwig Kaiser Sheamus feud for a reason. I think Sheamus is a big, strong guy that could have a stiff match with Gunther, get the European crowd to cheer for him over Gunther and lose. The other, Rey Mysterio.
Ooh, yeah.
I think Rey would make Gunther look like $1 million, and he is a big enough global star that crowd in Germany will go wild for Rey Mysterio. We've got one match left to go, my man.
Yes, and a few more minutes is also. Cody Rhodes battling Solo Sikoa. Bloodline rules. And we got Bloodline rules, which meant no rules. So everybody interfered. Jacob Fatu came in, laid the hammer down on Cody on the commentator's table. People thought he got hurt. But he's very good at selling that Jacob Fatu. The best, I would say.
Did not like that. That
Right.
made me very nervous.
Didn't it? I was nervous too. He's so good though.
He's wearing a walking boot.
He's okay.
It was in that moment, the way Jacob Fatu sold that leg, that he's struggling to get up, and the screaming in pain, and the way that he landed, there was like a moment where I'm just like, I really hope this is the best sell job ever, and not when Eddie Guerrero injured himself in the frog splash, like right after the Radicals debuted.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That was
so the entrance for Cody was like 14 minutes long.
I loved it.
What a story. Him on the bus, the last walk of Pharaoh, the reveal of Arn, one of the few podcasts that I don't think you have anything directly to do with.
No, it's true. I do YouTube clips.
Damn it. I give up. Fine. YouTube clips for the Arn show. Great moment for Arn Anderson right there. Cody getting the goofy skeleton head put on, the long entrance down to the ring. The match, I tweeted this out. It felt like a direct-to-video sequel of the main event we got at WrestleMania. I loved the Mania match, even though we knew we were going to get a ton of those Deadpool and Wolverine-style cameos.
Yeah.
Here, I found myself looking at my watch, just waiting, like, all right, when are we going to get the interference here from Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa? When are we going to get Kevin Owens? Like, you kind of knew as it was building and building and building. And then in the end, the Roman Reigns reveal, I didn't love the physicality of Roman. I would not have, I proffered before, I would have liked Jimmy Uso to be in that spot, and then he goes up to the ramp and you reveal Roman. I would not have given away Roman Reigns laying out Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, that was something that you could have slow dripped a lot. And I was really with you on your thought about, hey, make it Jimmy or even make it Jay or somebody like that to kind of, boom, get things cooking a little bit again and create some intrigue. When is Roman coming back? Things like that. And
I would have had him appear, but not show. I mean, you still got the moments, you got the emotion. Roman is definitely the A1 babyface, so that's going to be really interesting to see how that works. With Roman as the clear babyface, with Cody as sort of like the number 2 guy, even though he's the champ. There'll be a lot of intrigue. I think there's going to be a lot of fun that we're going to see going forward. Overall, I would imagine that the crowd went home really happy. and we're going to go home really happy here because I'm going to let Mr. Dominic D'Angelo plug the 1,000,001 shows that apparently he has his hand in. Dom, take it away.
Yes, one of a kind with RVD. We're doing a best of RVDology today. So, because Rob and I were both there at SummerSlam weekend, so we did not have a chance to record. So we're doing a best of RVDology that you can tune into, get a little insight, dropping today at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get ready for a new episode 2 of Straight Talk with the Boss, Gagne and Magnum. We're recording that this Thursday. Tune in live, and then the episode drops live. As far as everything else, I got some interviews set up for OneTrueSportTV.com. Jade Cargill, Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker, and Gunther. I all interviewed during this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. Go to OneTrueSportTV.com. So, Robert, you mentioned it, working stiff. You guys gave some great insight. I liked it. I liked both the Patreon and the regular.
Yeah, episode. working stiff with myself and Scott Chaplin was a hell of a lot of fun this past week. We for the Patreon, we did get into the instant reactions to SummerSlam, but this Friday, we know, give it a couple days. Let's see what the roadmap looks like after Raw. So we'll take the temperature of what the WWE is looking like right now, as well as all things AEW, as their 5th anniversary is coming up. But tomorrow, Rumor and Innuendo, noon Eastern, we're going to be talking the Monday Night Raw tonight that airs on Sci-Fi. The debut of the Wyatt Six in ring, the coronation of Gunther, the dissolution of Judgment Day, and beginning the countdown until Michael Cole leaves for SmackDown. That's great. Joe Tessitore takes over for Monday Night Raw. So that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. You can catch us on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ish X account, the SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube today. Rumor and Innuendo, working stiff, and ad-free shows. Jarrett back down. He knew his place. We are streaming across the board. So on behalf of the greatest reporter that was in Cleveland, Ohio, Mr. Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I'm not drinking my pee, guys. I didn't end the stream. Oh, dang it.